Yeah, I know that this movie's release date feels like forever ago, but that won't stop me from reviewing a film that's source material I consider to be my favourite contribution to its genre. There are two reasons for the belated upload. Reason the first is that I thought it best to post this year's summer edition of the Barely Banter podcast before the leaves started to fall, and the second reason is for week one of the Naked Gun stint at the cinema I was gallivanting around Bloodstock, which, in case you were wondering, was an occasion more primitive than hairy pussy. Frank Drebin, second of his name, has followed in his father's footsteps and became a lieutenant at Police Squad, which is under heavy scrutiny because of his consistent buffoonery. Because literal plot device, Drebin ends up on a case that, if not solved imminently, will put the LAPD and indeed planet Earth in more jeopardy than my credit score if Baby Metal started selling their sanitary towels. So my main concern going into this was that Creative didn't possess the minerals to carry across the niche comedic style from its predecessor into modern day cinema. Mercifully, I am delighted to report that the aforementioned concern was wasted energy, because this legacy sequel is fucking funny. Not only does it incorporate the type of humour featured in the original trilogy, it also puts a contemporary spin on the satire, which is all complemented by effective deliverance and methodical timing. The action is well choreographed, but isn't particularly hardcore. Sure, it's been given a rating of 15 by the British Board of Film Classification, but that's down to the movie dabbling in sexual references, not violence. That's to be expected, as the combat scenes belonging to the previous Naked Gun installments served as a foundation for the slapstick comedy, and that's predominantly what's happening here. Both elements gel together adequately and don't outstay their welcome at any point. The acting is on the level it needs to be for an action crime comedy. The supporting cast knew their role and delivered accordingly. Pamela Anderson clearly did her homework on the source material and put on a performance that felt like it was honouring Priscilla Presley's Jane Spencer. Thumbs up from me. Liam Neeson had the unenviable task of emulating Leslie Nielsen whilst resisting the temptation to impersonate, and in my eyes Neeson's efforts would make the OG Frank Drebin proud. Sure, his facial expressions weren't as rangy or humorous as Nielsen's, and his energy was lacking in various aspects by comparison, but this can be forgiven because he's not reprising Leslie Nielsen's Frank Drebin, he's playing his son, so an attempt at replication would be an open invitation for a bollocking from the hardcore fanbase. There are several Easter eggs and tributes spaffed all over the film reel, my favourite being the 85-minute runtime, which is the exact same duration as from the files of Police Squad and The Smell of Fear. Yes, the final insult is 3 minutes shorter than its counterparts, but who gives a fuck? Why is this my favourite hat tip, I hear no one ask? Well, in some cases, but not all, a predetermined runtime could inspire decisive editing and solid pacing. The Naked Gun 2025 is a good example of this. Most importantly though, a 1 hour and 25-minute feature length meant that despite attending the 6 o'clock screening, I still made it home early enough to have daylight assist me in picking out bits of my pillow from in between your mum's teeth. So there's a scene at the beginning where Frank Drebin, second of his name, is visiting his father's memorial plaque at Police Squad. During this moment he said, and I quote, "Hi Daddy, it's me, Frank Jr. I want to be just like you, but at the same time completely different and original." And that line of dialogue pretty much summarises The Naked Gun 2025 perfectly. It tastefully pays tribute without embracing plagiarism, and I honestly don't think you could have asked for a better continuation of the franchise. At time of talking, another sequel is being discussed, and given this movie's box office success and critical praise, it's a safe bet that a fifth offering is more inevitable than the changing of the seasons and my face being on the campaign poster for legalising Roadhead.